Today I'm going to share the experience of how you can test fitness app and what are the challenge you're gonna face when you get this chance to work on fitness app, and how you can approach to solve those challenge. Okay, so before starting, I just wanted to let you know, if you have any question, we'll take it up our last 15 minutes. So first 45 minutes will be the session, then 15-minute question and answer. If you have any question, you post in chat. I'll take it up at end of the session. And one more thing is, like, in my area there is a power connection issue. So in case power get disconnected, I'll reconnect again within a 2 minutes. So be online. Yeah, so this session is basically for those people who are interested to test the fitness app, and you wanted to know what are the challenge you're gonna face, and what are the solution we can provide to overcome those challenges. And in this, we are going to cover the basic features which any app, if you take any app of fitness, it will be common features shared among the. You can say it's a domain, one kind of domain where it share common features and challenges and the fitness solution on that. So these are the topic I'm going to cover. So I'll start with what are the market capital has this fitness app over the global, globally, and then what are the platform you can get to test this fitness app related thing, and what kind of training basically provided by the fitness industry, then common features provided by the fitness app, then what are the challenge you're gonna test, and what type of testing you're going to apply to overcome that challenges, and what are the approach you're going to apply on that. We'll take one by one. So uh, so globally, if you see 23% of CAGR market percentage is there, and this is forecasted between 27 to 23 USD. And this is like previously forecast. Now you can see the corona related pandemic. I personally feel that this is going to be a huge huge market, because people have learned there are online thing can be done. So whatever the online related industry, like education and training kind of thing, those are the industry are going to increase nearby future with this effect of this pandemic. So I feel this graph is more will be increasing in near future. Now if you see Google, Nike, Apple, those are the giant company who has introduced their fitness related app. And there are many companies which already coming up, and there are small companies like gold gyms. They have their own fitness related app. So there are many in the India and foreign country which is providing fitness related app. So you can see what are the format they can provide on fitness app. So first is like exercise application. So you must have seen the normal application where there are small GIF file which give you the different kind of exercise format where you can simulate. So these are the only the kind of GIF or small video clip. That's all. So it will be like, you can say, those video clip or GIF stored in the app. That's all. There is no much interaction between server and client side. So once it is stored in your app, it's done. Sometimes you can use offline also. One more is running tracker related app. You can say Fitbit, where they count your steps throughout the day you have walked. So those kind of trackers. Nutrition app, where they can keep you, your diet related information, give you the information where what are the meal portion you need to eat, and what are the calorie consumption it will be when you eat particular meal. So those kind of app. uh, One more format is yoga and meditation, where kind of small video or maybe the particular session will be running uh, related to yoga and meditation, and teach you how to do the yoga. The instruction person will be, giving the narration, and then you need to follow those kind of thing. And then personal live training. This could be anything. Maybe you can just Skype or Zoom. People will be like talking and giving the instruction. So this basically a third party kind of, you can say, uh, thing. And one more is video training. And there are many other training format will be provided by the app. In this, basically I'm concentrating on the app which is provided by inbuilt features. For example, video also, you need to go into the app and you can access all those things. I'm not going to cover anything like you can say YouTube. You can go to the YouTube and search video related, exercise related videos, and different kind of format. So I'm going to talk about the challenge you face if all those features available in the app. So you can see these are the major fitness related fitness related app you can see on those particular platforms, say smartphone, tablets, sorry, a wearable device like Apple Watch kind of thing. On a web, also the application which provide Chromecast related features and Firestore related features. Also, you can say Alexa kind of features. Also, all those things available for the Android, iOS, and Windows platform. So, according to me, there are two ways of giving training to the customer. One is inbuilt features. One is third-party tool. As I said, YouTube, you can say. So that is a third-party kind of thing. So the first one is like offline, where uh, particular video or photo related, GIF related thing is available, and you need to just download the app and do the exercise. So you can say just a one way of thing. Once you download, it's done. So that is like offline related, exercise related app. One more is online, where in app itself, inbuilt video classes will be provided. So there is no third party access, only inside they give some feature of providing the video on particular element. Then live streaming, where they provide direct feed from the their server, and you can access those things. Like for example, YouTube has a live feature, similar kind of thing. You can, I mean, app can provide those feature. Also, one more is like Alexa related, like you can say give command to the Alexa, and the application provided particular instruction, say you do this exercise for particular minute or particular section. So those kind of is, you can say, one kind of training. One more is like third party related, where you can say online using WebEx, or video using Skype. So those things. So I'm not going to discuss about third party. So we'll discuss on the inbuilt feature. So you take fitness related app, which basically, you can say it's a vast industry, and based on the company, and based on the what they provide, the feature is different. But these are the common feature any app can build, and we can you can taste this. So we'll see the workout, yoga, and live feature. So So there are different products they can provide. For example, they can provide a format of HIIT related format, Tabata, or different kind of yoga related pose. So these are the product they can sell. Say for example, you want to you install one particular application, and so you want to do exercise using Tabata. So they have provided the Tabata related product where you go buy, and the instruction has been provided inside the particular product, and you do all those related exercise given by provided by the app based on the instruction. So that is one feature. One feature would be like booking class. So suppose one company providing the uh, uh, for example 1 hour session, or you can say gym related stuff, where you want to book particular slot. So that particular slot, you before going there, you need to book the class, like you can say data entry, registration, register part, where you just book the class, block your seat and go there and do the exercise. So you can just seat management kind of thing. That one thing. Second thing is like, suppose in 1 hour they have capacity of providing the only 10% facility. So they need to give some features like, okay, suppose 10% already booked, what are the situation you need to handle? Like capacity is full. After that, suppose 10% is already booked, but one more person is trying to book. After that, in between that, some people are not coming, and some people say, I don't want to go there today because of so and so reason. So that dropout features, so all those things features is available when with this class booking features. Now suppose one gym has multiple location. Say I'm staying in Bangalore, and I already purchased one product from X and Y app, company or app. And if I move to Pune or Hyderabad, so and even there also they are providing features. So how application behave when you change the location? Suppose if you go to abroad and they're also available, the facilities available. So how your app behave in such case when you change the location? So those features is also possible. Nowadays many gym provide many gym has branches. So obviously this is the common features provided by them. One more is DIY, do it yourself, where they just upload one video on their app, and you can just do the exercise by whatever the exercise they are providing. So this will be like, you can say, just simply uploaded a recorded video. You just play and perform the exercise. One more is trackers, where different kind of trackers they can provide. One is product progress tracker. Say for example, you have purchased a product Tabata for 6 months. So how that particular progress has been done. Say 6 months, you can book number of classes. Within the 6 month, you can avail those particular features. What about after 6 months, whether automatically will continue or not? So those kind of features will be provided by using tracker. Then attendance, online, offline. You can mark attendance once class is done. Suppose if you have forgot to attend mark your attendance online, you can go there, attend the class, and your instructor might have some internal app where they can mark your presence. So those kind of features is reflecting in your on client side app. So that is one feature. One is like body transformation app. So basically it is like, you can say, uh, when app capture your body, your the whole body, it calculate your body skeleton, and measure the convert into some data and store into the database. When you perform some 3 2 months of exercise, what will happen? Your get bulky, or your shape get changed. So how your body is getting transfer that particular tracker. Then BMI tracker. After that feature will be like recorded video training, uh, where they upload some offline video, and that video you need to taste those things. Then live video training. So recorded and the live video is something different. So recorded is like once it is done, you can watch anytime. Live video will be like particular time only it will available. And in such case, you need to you need to check particular starting time and end time. It should not be like difference for other users. So those are the features available. Now the other side is like very advanced features, where I would say like it's a gamification during live session. So this is like very new thing coming up in fitness industry, where you can do the exercise online, and your mobile capture the your body movement and give you the details of whether you are performing very well exercise, or you need to improve your exercise posture, or all those details. Then calorie burn. So it's not 100% you can say uh, feature, but it is like it attract the customer, where when I perform my exercise online during live session, so obviously I want to know how much calorie I burn. So based on some random algorithm, they can provide you the uh, particular how much calorie you have burned during that particular session. Then this is like kind of position where there are many people are coming together to attend that live, and they do competition in between. Nowadays like challenges are very famous, like 20 days challenge, 10 days challenge. So those features also can be included. Then the body scans, as I said, like during the live classes, they scan your body and then track your body movement, and based on that they provide details of your exercise. So these are the gamification, which is very advanced actually. Then report maintenance. So once you do the live exercise or whatever the offline or video training, they will provide you the particular exercise related report, where how much time you attended, and what will be your rank, and all those details. Then this whole application feature can be Chromecast and Fire Stick and Alexa. You can watch on that, because sometimes watching doing live exercise on mobile is very not feeling good. So those all features can be you can use using this Chromecast and Fire Stick related uh, features. So this is the very basic, common, and very famous features provided by fitness app. Now we'll see how all those things can be taste using. You can taste, and what are the challenge you come when these features uh, when you get the product with this kind of features. So these are the challenge you might face if you get the a fitness app rated product. One is location based class booking. As I said, how you test location related test, where if you are in Bangalore and your product is belong to the Bangalore, and when you move to abroad or any other city, how your application will react. So this is the like geo related challenges, where you need to you will be going to face this. Then booking class management. So this look easy, basically, like okay, it's like entry and data entry kind of thing, but it is not that easy. So when for example you book the class, and then end moment if you drop out, so for the company it is loss. Like people have not if it is like paid class, then obviously end moment they need to refund money. So they need to come up some basic manage feature management, where they can limit the cancellation of the class. And in case if it is end moment cancel, it will intimate to the other user where they can avail those particular empty seat. So this it's if you go to implementation part, it's very difficult. Then different kind of tracker management, where it is like you can say tracker is always it's not a small task, actually it's a like big task. You can say, in banking term, you can say you're going to avail the FD, where how you'll check after 1 year FD will be matured or not. Kind of same thing, where you book the class, you do the exercise, and you will get a report after 3 months what will be your improvement. So how you're gonna taste those span of particular time in term of tasting. So this look actually easy, but when it come to the testing, it's like very vast. So you need to come up with some strategy where it will reduce your time. And like within a particular time, you can reduce your number of days in a minute or something. Then product expiry and renewal related challenges will come, where sometime it's happened where you buy the product and it get expire after a particular time, and then and sometime the user will still use those kind of application even though a product is expired. So this is the like one of the challenge. In the most challenging part will be like inbuilt video streaming. So when it comes to the internal part, so if I talk about app, so it is very difficult if compared to the web, because web when it comes to the laptop or something, it has a very good memory, and it can utilize those things. So there won't be any memory leakage related issues where you'll be facing that. But when it comes to the mobile, it has a limited number of memories and processors. So it is very difficult to taste that particular video streaming part. So yeah. And one more challenge will be faced, like social challenges, I would say, like kind of friends, where you invite to the friends, and you among your friend circle, you do the challenges. Okay, I'll do this, I'll do this, and then they'll come up with 10 days challenge, and then 21 days challenge. So how those things will work when people are coming together. So these are also a kind of a challenge will come. Then and after that, as the technology get changed, say for example React Native, so in a week or 2 week they'll come up with some new versions with new features. So how your app gonna taste, how your app gonna behave when the application library get updated. So that is also one kind of a challenge you need to face. Then platform coverage, you need to have multiple device. Like in market there are many devices available. So if it is like small video related stuff, it's okay, but when it comes to live streaming, it's very difficult to do that. Then device, after that the machine learning features, it's like this is a very new thing coming up in the market. uh, People are using ML and data science to measure your body movement and then they convert into the some particular points and give you the thing. Similar way they can give you the your calorie burn. So if you get this feature, it is not like video streaming. Say for example your Hotstar and Prime, where they just host their video on the server, you can just stream. So in a way you can say uh, it is coming from the server. It's a one way kind of streaming. But when it comes to the machine learning, where they capture your body movement, it is like two way. So it is very difficult for small performance device to handle those situations where it one time it is streaming the live video, and other side it is like the particular app is fetching your data using ML. So it is very difficult, and it is very challenging part for the developer to handle such situation, because there are so many problems they will be facing for the memory leakage related stuff. There are so many issues will come where your app will get crash. Yeah. So this is very interesting actually thing coming up in the market. One more thing is performance part. So performance, I would say there's a two type of performance we need to check. One is like app performance. One more is video response performance. So so app performance, and one more is like technology performance. So app performance is basically, if you people have worked on the logcat part, so we used to say logcat dash c, it will give you the start time. So basically it will just capture your activity initiate time. So when you open the application, it just record when activity gets started, that particular time. But when it comes to the user side, it will not be a that particular thing. So if you say my app is working fine with this particular app initiate activity, if you consider that particular time, so user will not be happy with that particular performance, because user will not bother about when your activity gets started. User will see when your application screen get displayed. So that is also one challenging part when it comes to the performance. The video response time. So basic, if it is like very if it is like recorded video, it is like normal video streaming related protocol will be used, where one way details will be passed. But when it comes to live video, it is very difficult for the performance part to capture that, because that time the server will be sending the details as well as receiving the details when it comes to a live streaming, plus you can say machine learning features. So the when it comes to live video streaming, these are the things you need to cover. You will be facing the challenge. For example, video streaming is smoothly or not, the network change and network coverage, like 2G 3G. Suppose you are working on Wi-Fi and suddenly the Wi-Fi get disconnected, your video will work, your application will immediately react on different network change to 4G or 3G. So those things, and then reconnection part. So as and when your Wi-Fi back, it will switch over to the Wi-Fi and again reconnect or not. So those are the challenge you'll be facing. Pixel broken. So there are some device support HD related, some device don't support HD. So the application should handle those kind of thing where HD related details will be streamed properly or not based on the device. Then memory leakage. Suppose you're playing some video inside the app, and then network, I mean, suddenly goes. So whether your application is rejoining or not. So it look easy when it come to like, okay, it's just a rejoining, but when it comes to the backend part, it's like whole reconnection should happen from server to client. So user perspective, it's just a simple part, but when it comes to testing, it's very challenges. Now to all those challenge we have seen, we'll see what we can apply, what kind of testing we can apply to overcome these challenges. So basically this is like exploratory testing, where you can learn by different industry application, by your domain expert, by going through multiple time your own application, and you can learn what are the challenge you're going to face. So obviously you need to do exploratory testing. Then API testing. Now API testing will help you so many ways. It is not just like success message or the error, internet error code. So it is beyond that actually. Then automation testing, where you can automate few features and you can use for regression purpose. Then as I said, performance testing, application related, technology related, and then video related performance. Then crowd testing, where you can mostly use different kind of device. There are many companies provided this kind of testing. The beta testing, you must have used that beta features available for Play Store and Apple Store. Then video related testing. So these are the testing you're gonna perform on those fitness related uh, application to overcome those challenges. So the exploit testing and automation testing, how it you can overcome those challenges. So what you can do is like you can use you can go through the features testing, where you will gain knowledge on the features. Whenever the new build come, whenever the new features come, you can test particular features using exploit testing. And if those features can be automated, you can pass it to the automation team, and then those team will be automating those particular test cases or particular features. Then use the regression on particular build. Suppose you get release build or build which is going live, so you can list out the regression part, and then you can identify uh, 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 what are the test case you use for the uh, uh, test case can be identified. Test case can be used for regression testing, and test those feature, and make sure that you uh, you use those features on different environment. And then before going for the release, you can make sure that all the bugs get fixed. And the automation part, uh, the features which can be automate, you can go with that automation part. And then you can rerun always whenever new features comes, so the existing feature will not be disturbed. Then create a particular automation script which basically a very weak point, and many bugs comes frequently, so it will be helpful when new build or new release features uh, feature comes. Now API and performance testing. So with help of API testing, uh, it is like you can do the basic thing where API response and code can be done. But uh, the API beyond that particular test, what you can do is some feature, for example live. So there is in a live streaming also, there will be some API point where the API will be fetching the video chunk to the client and streaming there. So that chunk value you can check. So when you test your performance on video, not device or your application, your video performance, like you have very good bandwidth, but your video is not playing well because the protocol which developer has written is not properly communicating to the server and the client. So those things you can use API testing and perform automation on that particular API, and check whether that particular the chunks are going well or not. So for that, you can use JMeter also. JMeter has the feature where it will it help you to you record the API and run and send the request by chunk. The other benefit is like the fast result in term of any like basic feature as well as the video performance part. Now come to the performance testing, the client side and server side. So the client side, basically it will help you to resolve the technology related performance. Say for example, React Native. So React Native is sorry, React Native is one technology which read your kind of component and load and present it to the client users. So how fast your React Native is giving response, generating the component, presenting to the client. So those things you can you can test. Then app performance on a device, that is like basically in term of performance it will not help, but this is also one challenge where the application itself taking a lot of time to initiate, because on initial page itself there's a huge GIF where the size is not reduced. So those such small things you can avoid by doing the performance using Logcat. Now the server side performance, as I said, like when it come to the live streaming, so it's not like client application is very stable and giving good performance. Suppose live and during the live there are so many people coming on live, so there are chance that your server will get down or might be burst. So such case you need to you can avoid by doing this API performance, where uh, you can create a virtual load of so many users and then check whether that particular server is handling properly or not. Then the auto scaling features. So suppose you're using cloud based server, say Amazon AWS server. So in that case, there are features where auto scale available. Say suppose your server throughput is so and so point, it will automatically create a one instance and try to send new request to that particular new server. So that also can be test, and you can improve your server side performance. One more is database related performance, where say for example you're testing some live feature where your body movement is captured, and based that body movement will capture within a second so many so much data, capture the data and send it to the database to store that. So database could be the cloud or could be the local instance, for example Tomcat or MongoDB or something. So in that case, if you are capturing so many data from the client side and storing to that, whether that particular server is capable or not. So those things also you need to you need to check. Now for that database performance thing need to perform to overcome this server side uh, related challenge. Now crowd and beta testing. So when it comes to the crowd thing, there are many companies available, they provide these features. So they have their own team, and they don't normally hire, but they use people to register, and then whenever they get application, they intimate to that team, or the people who have already registered, and those people will help you to taste thing. So you can avail this crowd based testing, and this is basically when you compare to a crowd and beta testing, the crowd is basically you can use for particular feature. It's not like you can test whatever. There is a dedicated team, dedicated people will be there, and those people will be interacting with you or whoever the concerned person, and they make sure that what are the features you are going to release get tested by the real users. So that is a control environment, and feature is also limited what we provide them. And you can decide what are the device you're going to cover. So based on that they recreate that thing and then give you the output. When it comes to the beta testing, it's like a real users, where there are many company provide beta feature on Play Store as well as Apple Store. You can avail those. You can enroll for that particular program, and you can get the features test before it get released. So you can use these features and get it tested by the real users, and which basically it will not give you the negative uh, review also, because whenever they report any bug, that intention is to get notified to the developers, so it will not impact on your review part. So, and the most important is like they are real customer, real users, and they'll give you the very genuine rated uh, feedback on your app. So this also will help you to cover those cover device related coverage and platform related coverage related solution. So video testing. So during the video testing, you can test different resolution. Different device has different resolution. Suppose you are going to test on Chromecast, so on TV also it has a different resolution. And the buffering concept. So whenever you see the live, so it's not always 100% live. There is a particular 5 or 10 second related difference. So in that particular 5 or 10 seconds there are small buffer going on. So those buffering is also like kind of, it helps you to improve the video related stuff. Then the video lag on casting, say similar way, when it come to the device, and inside the application there are video which is playing, there won't be any lag. But when you cast to the TV, there is a lag on video. So you can reduce those lag, and then those thing we can test and then give it to the users, sorry, developer. Now FPS, frame per second. So that is also a thing, like when it come to the smooth video streaming. So FPS play a very important role when it comes to the smooth screening. So those things also you can taste on video. Now package drop. Uh, Package drop is like, for example, as I said, when it video gets streamed, uh, they won't send you whole video, but it will send you the bits and piece. So but that bits and piece is nothing but a chunk. So that chunk is also known as a package. So when it's stream, it should not, that package should not be dropped. And when it come to that particular streaming, you don't have actually, basically, if you see the package related thing, you don't have much control as a user side. So you can do this kind of testing using performance, where chunk by chunk video rated thing will tested, and you'll come to know what are the chunk get dropped. So as when you test manually, it is very, whenever you repeatedly test, you'll feel okay, the streaming is not properly happening. So when package drop happen, you can see kind of blurred image, or you can see kind of gray image where the video is not displayed, but other kind of colors or pixels will be displayed that particular time. Then the different network speed. There are many application available in the market where you can control your network change, where you say, I want to test on 3G, I want to test on 2G, I want to test on Wi-Fi, uh, all those things. And you can there the other features also, where you can tell, okay, I want to test 2G on particular duration only, then automatically it will get changed. And sometimes some application also provide a bandwidth, say I want to test on particular bandwidth, say 1 MB, 2 MB. So all those things you can test on video related stuff. Yeah. So I hope you have learned something from this presentation. Now I'll take your questions.
Is it feasible to share this link or the doc to us?
Uh,
It is
the,
Venugopal.
uh, this presentation?
Yeah, whatever the recorded session, is it
Yeah.
feasible to share with us, or how is it? What is your plan on it? Because it is confidential document
Yeah,
as it is.
actually, the person is recording this session. He will update you on that.
Okay, fine, thanks.
Yeah.
Where is going to update Neeraj? Whether it's going to share with us or register mail ID or somewhere?
I'm not sure whether I need to ask that person
Oh,
whether
oh, okay, okay.
he will be sharing or not. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. Yosundar here from Bangalore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on video-related applications. So basically, what I'm facing is frequent app crash. So is it any tool kind of thing to check, or it's like we need to go to source code to check? I mean, how to test that? So basically, when we are testing, the app is crashing. So it happens frequently. One release, it will not crash. The next release, it will crash. So it happens like that.
Okay. So I'll tell you. So there's a two thing. One is you can see there is a two type of app. One is a build debug build, and one is a normal build, which you can say on Play Store. So Play Store you cannot debug. What you can do is you can ask developer to provide a debug build, and those debug build you can whenever you're running, you start your logcat, and then you observe whenever you tap anything on an application, or it could be mobile, it giving the log on that particular console. So you can check whenever the crash happen, you can check there, and in that you just search fatal, and in that fatal you can give it you can see the whole crash log. You provide that crash log to developer in case if it is memory leakage. I don't think so you can find out that, because memory leakage can be checked on Android or particular developer tool only. So you can provide only logcat related stuff if you have debug build.
Can we, without the debug build, can we do the same thing using Charles? I mean, because Charles is also used for tracking all the logs and the API and the calls that happen, right?
Charles provided only the HTTP response. It
Okay.
will not
So,
provide log actually.
okay. So we cannot take out log from that. We need only logcat.
No. It is just whenever whatever you do any action. So
Yeah.
any application, it just send HTTP request and give you the response. So that response
I'm, I'm
will be.
asking a bit on the logcat side, not on the Charles side. Ki, like, how does logcat work? Because I've also not worked with logcat so far.
So Logcat is just a small tool provided by Android.
Hmm.
Whenever you just type on console, say logcat, ADB logcat, then
Hmm.
it will start recording your mobile session.
Okay.
That whenever you perform anything, it's not only application stuff. If you open anything and on your mobile, it will give you the all the details.
Cool.
Yeah.
So when you say all the details, it is not only the API calls that is going, what all level of log is captured is what I'm asking exactly.
Yeah. Not API related, but crash or the logs which ADB provide. It's Android is a platform, right? Android provided details.
Cool. Thanks.
Neeraj, one more question I had with respect to memory leakage. You see, even if you have go with like any Android device, so with respect to even we have good sufficient of memory also, I mean RAM and everything, still we are getting like app crash or something. I know, or I don't know whether it may be indirectly it's getting crashed because of memory leakage only. But as a QA, how to detect the memory leakage issue? That is the most
Hello.
challenging thing. Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello.
I, can you repeat again? Can you repeat?
Yes,
Hello.
see, my question is very simple. How to detect the memory leakage issues in Android devices, especially? Even
See,
sometimes you have good sufficient of memory also. I mean, RAM, whatever it may be. Okay, with respect to any mobile devices. But how to detect? So app is crashing because of memory leakage only. How to detect memory leakage issues?
so app crash could be the direct question, direct thing where a developer has wrongly configured things. Say, for example, null pointer, null they are passing to particular object. So
Okay.
if you press that, application will get crashed. So that is not related to memory leakage. So that memory leakage can be analyzed using an Android Studio only. So developer can do those things.
So as a QA is
As a
not.
QA, you can capture the fatal error and ANR, where it is related to your technology related, not application related.
Okay.
So is it same for iOS also?
Yeah, Android and iOS code.
So how to capture logs from iOS? Like it doesn't give us straight away. Like in Android, we can install the logcat, or we can cache the logs through ADP command.
Yeah, so Android, iOS has its own way. You cannot capture using a thing. So it has a privacy option where whenever crash happen, it's stored there.
Okay,
There's a
you mean to say in the settings general
Huh.
privacy?
Yeah. So there is a analytic option is there. If you tap that, it contain all the crash log related report where you can send to a developer or email ID.
So by there is other mean of a like Xcode through we can also capture the log.
Uh, I have not worked on that because, but I used to do using the analytic only
Okay.
because it gives the same output.
Okay. So can you just please let us know the main bullet points for Android and iOS testing, not related to the fitness, like what are the basic features for an application, like what are the main major bullet points that we have to look for the both if we are testing mobile apps on both Android and iOS. Like in similar with log, how to obtain the log, how to obtain the API request, how to perform the performance testing, like some tools or something, like just brief summary of about 2-3 minutes.
Yeah. So why I'm see when you compare to any app, the point which I explain is common except video testing and performance part. Because when it comes to the video testing, there are few application which is one way streaming. There are few application. One person has written here some cult app. So the cult app provide kind of data uh, analytic from your from their application. So those thing is very challenging part. Rest is similar. Why I taken this session is when it come to the when you compare to the e-commerce part and one user and you want to do the coverage of your particular app, for example Myntra or Amazon, Flipkart, you can run number of time with one user. But when it come to this fitness app, there are gym where they provide only particular limited. Say for example, one gym has a 10 treadmill and they can accommodate only 10 person. So at a particular 1 hour or whatever the session they provide, they can only avail. They can only book the 10 people. So how you gonna do the performance on that? So as a user side, you cannot do. I mean client side. So you have to do using the API only. This is why it's make different when it comes to the e-commerce and the fitness app.
Is there
All
any tool to test the performance related of Android and iOS application? APM we
Sorry?
can use for functional. For performance, is there any specific tool to test for hybrid apps in Android and iOS?
Load runner is there. Actually,
When you can use JMeter also for Android.
huh. So basically, when it comes to my personal experience, application get slow when you don't maintain proper data communication and the memory related leakage. The rest server side performance you can perform using API itself. You can do so many things using API, but when it comes to the application side, it is like how fast your application is performing on a lower end device. So memory leakage, if you solve, and the technology, say for example React Native. So when your application built on React Native, how fast React Native is showing your screen. User are not bothered how fast your activity is starting. User is bothered about how fast application is shown. So I have seen like React Native 5 latest version. It's just give half of the, like previous version it was like for example 10 second. Now it's giving 5 second actually. If people have done performance on the React Native application, so they can observe like it is just half actually. So the technology also matters. It's not like only the server side or the client side. So technology also matters.
So these all fitness apps are progressive web app,
No,
just like.
that is a common thing. It's like based on how they wanted to develop, what technology they wanted to use. I've just given one example of this React Native. There are Angular also. There are other thing also. Native also.
So just like you see the like when you use a Flipkart on a desktop and when you use a Flipkart on your phone, so you probably see the same UI.
Yeah, that is what the beauty of this React Native and Angular, all those things. So previously the native, you have to write a different code for each application. Now it is like single code for all platform. So client side change, it will reduce. So for example, client side change, I'll tell you only the resolution related stuff you can check on Android and iOS or something. You can test only one platform, say for example Android. The behavior will be same for iOS also. Previously it was not like that. So previously like login button fails on Android and iOS, it will work because they have their native platform. Now it is like client side, it's totally changed. Now the same similar behavior will be there, only the resolution part or kind of GUI related stuff will be changed in device to device, or else functionality will be work everywhere same. That is what beauty of React Native or any other technology nowadays. uh,
Hello,
uh,
Neeraj.
yeah.
There are some fitness applications which does makes use of some of the hardware components, such as the firmware. For me, Fitbit app, something like that.
Okay.
In those cases, the lot of data comes from the hardware. So at that time,
Okay.
what would be the testing approach to test that application?
See, my personal experience, I would say the minimum performance. Say, for example, nowadays, if you see uh, any device has a minimum 3 GB RAM. So when it comes to the hardware related, obviously there will be much uses of hardware. For example, camera, it will inserting camera or doing something with the camera. Okay, so those things you can say I wanted to apply this feature only on particular this device onward only. So which actually help you to nowadays nobody are, I mean very few people will be using lesser than 3 GB actually. So that particular I mean you can give a device limitation like it, from this onward it will start. Plus there could be a technology related problem we'll face based on the, say for example redmi has custom OS. So that also actually give you the restriction to use the OS thing. Say initializing camera permission related. Say in it, that permission related stuff will come, like that thing will come so much problem in iOS actually, because so much restriction. So you can give some limitation. You can give the benchmark on particular device, and that on that onward you can check. If you want to cover more device coverage, obviously we can go with the beta testing or crowd based testing. If you have lab, you can use cloud based mobile platform.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Because what happens? These hardware devices pump in lot of data. Because of that, a lot of battery resources will be consumed from the mobile devices.
Yeah, you can report those. Definitely there are solution provided by that. So if it is consumption is more based on the based on your hardware, it is consuming more battery, then obviously there is a issue. That suppose if you are running video or something which consume more, actually that is okay, but it should not be drastically changed until your battery has a problem.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Neeraj.
Yeah. uh, Balaji has asked how will test FPS. Is it a perf testing? What tool is used? Video testing. So a frame per second, actually you can use JMeter. JMeter has some plugin where you can do all those things. Uh, it is a performance related testing, but I would personally suggest like tools will not give you. It will work on based on some algorithm. But uh, when you taste 3 to 4 times, you'll feel how your application video is streaming smoothly or not, whether it is jerk or not. So all those things you'll experience whenever you taste manually. So my personal advice is like you can use manually only rather than testing. In case you want to cover the device related stuff, you can use tools, but this will taste by experience only. Say I would say like whenever you say this, whenever you buy TV, say TV giving smooth picture transmission. So if people say you will not feel, but when you see manually, when you visit the shop and see, you'll feel okay. This is the very smooth. So I do the same thing with that. Something I taste manually only. There is a question from Pooja. Actually, I cannot see the question. If can, yeah. What? Yeah, what use case come under video testing? So that video testing use case based on what kind of video you are testing. It's like offline video or online streaming. So if it is offline, then obviously you need to just check the bits and piece, the video properly coming to the client, because every video are stored on a server, and and the FPS, then uh, package drop, network change, all those things you can check. Okay, so just got information like recorded session will be shared on YouTube, so you can subscribe to that YouTube channel and you can get there.
What about the previous sessions? This is the first session I am attending with the Mola. So, but I
Okay.
used to get the notification due to some other meeting. I could not attend the previous meetings. So, is it possible to get old recordings videos?
I think that you can subscribe to the Mulya YouTube channel where
Yeah,
you
I
can
checked
get.
over there. There is no. I think very recent video only I checked. There is no any kind of video stored there.
Okay, I'll check with this. I'm not sure how they are sharing with that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Any other question?
Whereas how it is different from this normal functional testing and app testing? How different it will be?
Okay, so thanks this you ask. So when I was only testing web, I the same question I had actually. So I was just thinking like, okay, it is just a matter of keypad. So, say for example, if you are on web, you don't see the keypad; you just directly type there. But when it comes to the app, when you say enter your mobile number, so only the numbers related keypad should come. So I was thinking that way, but when it come when I learn and I got experience, the mobile testing is something different than web, because the main part is the memory and the leakage, and it is like no what I say, how to say that, it is something different actually, where because it's a small device, it has a limitation to taste. It is not like your laptop or something which has a very huge thing, and so there are so many things running in background. So I would say uh, today morning only I found one issue where there is a calendar where when I tap a particular particular element, the tappable part was not properly set, and if I tap particular uh, place where it's supposed to, the application get crashed, because Android had something where the particular element should discovered. Okay, so those challenge you'll face in when you come to the web, it won't be happen. It will, maybe what will happen, it will not tap your application, or your browser will not get close. But in application, it is like whole different experience. And if it is happening multiple time, obviously you're going to delete that.
Normally, the testing will be done through the mobile device, or it will be done in the laptop, desktop.
uh, Actually, there is a
Actually,
simulator
these are some
emulator.
basic questions. Why? Because I have not worked on any app testing, so that's the reason I'm
No,
asking.
no, it is not a basic question. It is important question. People are, when people are coming, even I used to do same thing. I used to do automation on simulator or emulator. But when I actually come to know, when I actually face, there are some situation where future will work on your simulator, but it will not work on the real device, because simulator having some kind of not 100% clone operating system. It has a limitation, but when it comes to device, it's supposed to work. So I personally prefer to test on a real device only.
Okay, okay. But basically, first, whenever dev team gives the bill, we'll be testing on the simulator or the device itself.
Simulator actually, that is what I said. No, I prefer only mobile.
Okay, 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 fine.
Simulator, I mean, you can taste it, but the what knows, when it go to the customer, it will not behave same way sometime,
Okay.
because
And one more thing, for this
in
mobile app testing also, we write the test cases and execute those in ALM kind of thing.
sorry, can you come again?
No, I'm saying for this app testing also, we will be writing the test cases and executing those test cases in ALM that test management tool? Something like
Sorry to interrupt here. So what I can say with respect to, based on my experience, there is no difference much between web application testing and app testing. Everything you are maintaining same as like a web app. So very difference is like here we're going to test with different device. That's it. Here we are going to use APK and it's a different builds. That's it. Both are same.
I mean, user perspective, I agree with that. It is same, but there are limitation. Kind of, as I said, memory related, memory leakage, performance. There are so many things. Is a challenge part when it comes to the this one mobile part.
Mobile app, especially usability issues and how you are in the good and look and feel is very important in mobile app compared to web app. That is the most
Yes,
challenging.
yes.
Thanks,
So
Neeraj.
test case wise, everything can be, you can say 100% can be done, provided all the features available in both platform.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks guys for joining, and hope you have enjoyed this session and learned something from this